Boom, 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 rolling. So this is basically a breakdown of what a week of Sentinel compete training looks like. We decided to get into the weeds, the deep weeds. We do this pretty intuitively when we're writing our programming to begin with. We audit our stuff pretty regularly. We make sure we're really varying the movement patterns, movement variations, implements used, heavy, moderate, light, etc. That's kind of our entire program. Our entire method of programming is built on the fundamental component of variance. Movement selection, movement pattern, movement variation, heavy, moderate, light, body weight, modality, time domain, high skill, high strength versus low skill, low strength, energy systems, volume, high, moderate, low volume. Like we are pretty like dead set on purposeful and intentional variance within that.
Yeah, and I think purposeful and intentional are really important words to describe it. Like a lot of the people who want to get, hate on CrossFit always say random.
It's random, yeah. It's not random.
Not random.
It's purposeful the way like bodybuilding split days are purposeful, like an upper day and a lower day and a combo day and a posterior day, an anterior day. Like it's purposeful in that sense to allow athletes to recover as much as possible, but also to target redundancy in specific muscle groups as much as possible. So this is basically what a week of training looks like, minus, this is key here, we did not include our Thursday conditioning sessions because they're optional rest days. They're almost always machine-based, and there is an option for a swim workout. So it's only monostructural. Sometimes, very infrequently, there will be running, and very infrequently, there'll be bodyweight gymnastic exercises. So that's to take into account one. Second thing to take into account is we program 4 pieces a day for compete. Usually it's a lifting or a strength-based session, 2 workouts, and then an accessory. More often than not, I would say like 70% of the time, our accessories are body weight based. Gymnastic strength or skill based, because more often than not, our strength or lifting sessions are weightlifting based. So we have this balance of most of the time our lifting and strength is weightlifting, and most of the time our accessory work is body weight, strength, or skill focused. And then within our workouts, there might be a day where we don't have an accessory. We have 2 workouts and an interval and like a higher volume training day. But that's what we have here. So yeah, that's our breakdown. I think another thing typical on Sentinel and how we believe competitive CrossFit athletes or athletes aiming to be competitive should train is relying on interval workouts for, if not a majority, at least equal parts percentage of their conditioning CrossFit style training. So like for us, more often than not, we'll have 1 interval a day and like a classic CrossFit style workout a day. Let's kind of go through this. On day 1, we have 3 rounds for time. That's a pretty classic format. It's a 100-meter bear hug carry, 500-meter run, 10 burpee bar muscle-ups, 3 rounds for time. Then our interval session that day, we don't have a second workout. We have an accessory that's all weightlifting based. It's dumbbell bear crawls and sled pushes. So this is a little outside the norm. And then we have row calories, interval based. So normal workout, interval based. Second day, we have a 20-minute EMOM, which I don't know, maybe I wouldn't even call that necessarily traditional CrossFit, but it's really close to it because it's kind of just like you're going back and forth. But let's call this rest even, and this is work rest 2, intervals. So 3 on, 2 off for 5 sets. And this is probably 4 on, 1 off for 4 sets. So these are 2 intervals. So now it's 1 of 4 pieces is classic CrossFit. We have 3 intervals so far. Then the next day we have a couplet, 2 rounds for time. So that's 2 of 4. And then we have, this is like work rest is 2. I don't know. How do you feel about calling something like that an interval? It's 3 sets, rest 5 minutes between. It's 3 like max effort sets.
I would still call it an interval.
Yeah.
And I think it's some of the truest form of interval training, like doing like really, really hard efforts and then a big rest. And I know what I know, and everyone knows what you mean when you say classic CrossFit, but I also think intervals are classic CrossFit. Like
I'd agree with that. So now we have 2 of 6 are classic CrossFit, 4 of the 6 are interval based. And within these intervals, you're still doing CrossFit. Like this 1-to-1 work rest is a 16 cal echo, 100-foot handstand walk, 16 dumbbell snatches, 20 strict handstand push-up, 16 dumbbell snatches. That's a CrossFit workout. Yeah. It's just the focus is not one effort through. It's accumulating volume at a high intensity with rest in between. Then we've got work rest with burpees and rowing. So that's 5 of 7 interval based. Then we have a 10 round for time, 40 dubs, 8 chest to bar, classic, no rest. So that's 3 of 9, 33% are classic CrossFit. And then we have an even split on the next day too. We have a squatting variation of the standard, 30, 30, 30 for time. And then we have running intervals to finish. So that's kind of what our competitive training looks like. And the focus, especially throughout the off season, should 100% be accumulating a lot of intensity minutes where the volume is controlled in an interval-based session. You're just gonna get way fitter doing that. You can accumulate way more intensity minutes at a higher relative intensity through interval training than if all of your workouts were just 5 rounds for time or 20-minute AMRAPs.
Right.
We do include a lot of those though. It's just like when you hear the old CrossFit heads saying, oh, we don't do much CrossFit, we do a lot of intervals. That's CrossFit. Intervals are CrossFit. What they mean is they're not doing a Fran and Cindy every day, like a 21:59 and then a 20-minute AMRAP. Those are extremes. It's really hard to repeat those extremes because they require far more psychological tolerance to get repeated intensity like that. Like to go max effort on workouts like that in that format is just a beat down day after day after day, whereas intervals make it so easy to get intensity.
Yeah, and before you guys start commenting about how intervals aren't CrossFit, just go watch us on CF Network where we go through What is Fitness.
Yeah, look up our episode 4, What is Fitness, part 2. That article was written in 2002 by Greg, and it says like, hey, we rely on intervals more than almost anyone.
Yeah.
Anaerobic intervals. And that is like, it's the name of the game here. Interval training is the name of the game. Even if a lot of these aren't even anaerobic, fully anaerobic based, like a lot of them are aerobic based or 3 on 1 off, 3 on 2 off, but this is 1 on 2 off.
And this, you're probably getting more rest.
Yeah, it's probably really 1 to 1.5 or something like that. I don't know. So that's one component of our training that's really important, especially for competitors. And look, the name of the game is intensity. So if interval training allows you to get more intensity minutes over a training week than not, you're stupid for not doing that. On our classic track, we'll do an interval once or twice a week, not including the Thursday conditioning. And like other large majority of the workouts are your traditional CrossFit formats. 5 rounds for time, 10-minute AMRAP, 12-minute AMRAP, 20-minute AMRAP, chipper for time.
And even in those rounds for time workouts, I feel like good programming takes into account that, hey, if we're going to do multiple for time workouts this week, 1 or 2 of them might be really like hard to keep moving and hard to keep like what feels like really high intensity. But most of the time you're going to have a movement in there or like a transition somewhere that makes sense.
Active rest.
To like recover a little bit and be able to go really hard. In the
a run or a row. And that's a very smart way to use monostructural elements within workouts. It's also a really valuable way to use them within intervals to control volume of expensive repetition exercises. Like, for example, this interval. Every buy-in is set at 21 med ball GHDs and 9 box jumps to a 40 or 36-inch box. It's 5 sets, so we're controlling the total amount of volume, which is really important because the med ball GHD setup or that really tall box jump, uncontrolled, could result in rhabdo, tripping on the box. So we control the volume, and then the scored portion is max calories on the ski erg, which you're not going to get hurt doing, but you can get a ton of intensity, low skill, low strength, metabolic conditioning.
And and it's not even controlling it because rhabdo or tripping on the box, but also just minimum effective dose. Like we know that in this format, in this workout, 105 medicine ball GHD sit-ups or whatever is the appropriate amount and enough for someone to get better at them and get a really good training stimulus.
Exactly. So basically what we did here is we wrote out the training week minus our conditioning days, but including all of our weightlifting sessions. And then we went through and we broke down kind of the variance and the spread in a couple of different fashions. So We took the 3 main modalities, monostructural, weightlifting, gymnastics, and we did total reps for weightlifting and gymnastics, and then total minutes for monostructural. We scored the monostructural reps later in movement patterns, but let's just start here. So we had 51 total minutes. Key here, not including our Thursday conditioning. If we're including our Thursday conditioning, it's almost double.
Yeah.
It's probably like 80 minutes or 90 minutes total. We have 6 different monostructural variations. We have double unders, echo bike, bike erg, ski erg, rower. No, we maybe don't have bike erg. So we have row, echo bike, ski erg, double under, shuttle runs, and regular running. So we broke those up between the two. And the monostructural components included in 7 of the 20 pieces. When we go to weightlifting, we have a whopping 753 total reps. 172 of those were heavy, 286 of those were moderate, 295 were light, included in 14 of the 20 pieces. And we had 6 barbells, 4 dumbbells, 1 sandbag, 2 med balls, 1 sled. For the gymnastics, we had 552 total reps. 302 of those were either high strength or high skill, included in 10 of the 20 pieces. We didn't break down pull-up bar, rope, rings, which probably we should do. We should go through. Had 1 workout with rope, 1 workout with rings.
1 on a pull-up bar, 2 on a pull-up bar.
2 on a pull-up bar, burpees, box.
3 on a pull-up bar then.
3 on a
bar,
pull-up.
muscle up, toe to bar,
Okay,
chest
yeah.
to bar.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways, wow, we should have included that. Sorry, guys. We get a lot of variance in the bodyweight exercise for sure. Other important context is if you take out the weightlifting, it's 7 out of the 15, meaning you
take out the lifting piece.
The lifting session, which is almost always single modality strength-based. So if we didn't include our always single modality aerobic based Thursday, just for, a thought experiment, taking out, and it makes us look better, taking out the 5 single modality lifting sessions, we'd have 7 of the 15 pieces are monostructural, 9 of the 15 are weightlifting, 10 of the 15 are gymnastics.
Well, and also along the same lines as this, if we look up here and take away these 172 heavy reps, because those are all the lifting pieces, then this is almost the same as that.
As the gymnastics, yeah. And you're not only taking out the heavy reps, but you would also balance with the accessory, which is typically far more body weight based for us. But in this component, this is a weightlifting bias training week. We're getting really close. This is the first week of a semifinals preparation block. It's the second block. So basically we had 9 weeks from the end of quarterfinals to individual and affiliate semifinals. We had a 4-week block, 1 week back off, and this will be a 4-week block, 3 of which, so the second block, 3 of which will be a ramp. The final week will be a taper. So this is the first week of that second block. You would expect in affiliate semifinals for there to be a lot of high strength, high skill gymnastics, and for there to be a lot of heavier to moderate weightlifting components and less monostructural. You're gonna maybe have a rower and double unders, maybe shuttle runs, but it's gonna be like WG, MWG, GG, WW type of classic CrossFit workouts.
And I feel like in online semifinals last year, most people are limited by the weightlifting movement.
And the high skill gymnastics.
Yeah.
The muscle ups in the back squat workout or legless rope climbs in years past. So that's kind of why we have that spread like that at the moment. And then we took things by movement pattern. So upper presses, this includes all the modalities except monostructural. So it includes weightlifting and gymnastics. We have, I talked about accessories up there. 3 of the 5 this week were a weightlifting component. We had the weighted hip extensions, the bear crawl and sled, and then the wall ball shots for height. What were the body weight ones? Oh, handstand obstacle course practice was 1, so a skill base, and then a death by L sit, a strength based. 308 upper body presses, 264 upper body pulls. To take into consideration here, 150 of these are burpees, so really low skill. The upper pulls are far more strength and high skill based. So we have burpee bar muscle ups, ring muscle ups, rope climbs, toes to bar, chest to bar, etc. I would say the burpees of all of these are like the easiest outside the monostructural component. Then we have 203 squats. A large majority are heavy. So we have heavy overhead squats for 16 reps, heavy back squats for 25 reps.
Yep.
I would say we have moderate goblet squats with the dumbbell, and then we have some moderate squat snatches and squat cleans with the barbell. I think that covers that spread. Then 287 hinges. In this cycle, our strength-based lifting is a back squat and a deadlift where they're doing cluster sets and really heavy. So the total back squats are 25. It's basically 5 sets, 3 reps, rest 30 seconds, 2 reps. And then you go at the 4-minute mark and the 8-minute mark, etc. And then we have cluster sets of deadlift singles. So it's 1 deadlift every 10 seconds for 5 sets. At the 2-minute mark, repeat for 10 total rounds. So that's like our heavy weightlifting, working like, top end strength. And then we have 2 Olympic lifting days, a snatch day and a clean and jerk day that are working power and battery. So like snatch battery, clean and jerk battery. So that's why we have a higher rep here, is the Olympic weightlifting accounts for a lot of battery work when it would previously be lower rep, higher strength. So the first block of that semifinal build prep camp was high strength, high percentage Olympic weightlifting. And then the squatting, it was front squats and then a deadlift bear hug or GHD superset of deadlift battery. And then we have 65 lunges. I'm including 5 100-foot sled pushes. So I'm counting 100 feet as 1 rep. And then we have some step ups. Maybe it's 60 step-ups, I think, and I'm including that in the lunge variation. And that you could honestly put into a squat pattern. It's just like a unilateral, almost squat pattern. If you want to, a lot of people would consider it that.
You can simplify it more, but I think it's worth splitting up.
Yeah, I think it's worth splitting up, but it's a push with the leg rather than a pull. And then 274 trunk flexion and extension reps, GHD, toes to bar.
The weighted hip extension.
Weighted hip extensions, L-sits.
L-sit.
Yep. We counted 1 12-second unbroken set as a rep. And then we have 1,053 monostructural reps. We counted every 20 meters as 1 rep. So 20 meters of a run or row as 1 rep, and then 1 calorie as 1 rep. So you notice it's like 5x everything else. But I think it's worth considering that 1 cal and 20 meters is far easier per rep than almost everything else on the board. Yeah,
there's not like a right way to do it because it is just a little subjective, but that's how we did it. That's what got us this number.
Yeah. So if you're here because of our Instagram post, we haven't made that yet, but we're planning on making the Instagram post when we release this video, breaking down all of this and showing the graphs. This is how we program. Like, we put this much thought into every week. We put this much thought into every workout. We do the workouts. All we care about is having the best program that fucking destroys every other program. So that's why we do this. We love it. We have fun. And anyways, that's a week of Sentinel Compete training. Try us out. Trainsentinel.com, 14-day free trial.